Yo, what's up, man? We back, man. What's going on? We in week 3. You know what I'm saying? What's going on, everybody, man? Welcome back, man. Yo, they shut me down on the book. The book's getting a little sensitive, man. People are getting a little sensitive. You know what I mean? But you already know, man. Yo, I want to react real quick to this West Warwick Ponagansett game. Definitely check that out, and plus we're going to go over some week 3 games this week. What do you think about this when we come back?
And one of the best games all year.
Yo, it was great. We actually practiced.
It's federal. Switchy Frank. Let's go. Come take a ride through my city life.
It's going to be you're in a home now. It's going to be hard to dig out of that hole.
Shitty life. This is city living, mostly them city children. From my bedroom, see the lights of them city buildings. Ain't gotta act hard, private's my backyard. I run road out, you can call me a track star. And we a team, homie, all is one. I don't sleep until all is done. I ain't ruckus, so please don't call me Mr. 401. It's Mr. Rags, you can call me, I'm still in that 401. From where we was, look at all these colors. For what it's worth, I put my all in the sun. Know that my city love it. Think I give about my city's budget, about my city's public, know how my city does
West Elwood Intruders. There's a lot of guys that deserve opportunities, but for some reason the city is fumbling. They're fumbling. They're really fumbling. I mean, we can get into it, Mike. You know the story. I was at Juanita Sanchez.
I have to thank, Coach Dino Campopiano and his staff over at Shea.
If you come out freshman year, man, I tell my nephew, we're building that foundation 7th, 8th grade, and we're on record in 9th grade. You know what I mean?
That's right. Shout out to the man, Willie Edwards. We're on record in 9th grade, man. We'll be right back. What is going on, everybody? What is going on? A lot of people knew I was definitely going to have to say something about this game. I mean, on one side of the coin, you have somebody that, let's call a spade. Someone that really, is not really a great coach, and the aside that he sent me a cease and desist. Of course, we're going to talk about my man, Dave Caito. But before we do, I got to let everybody know we got to, where is it? Here we go. A little disclaimer we call the Caito rule. Views and disclaimers, information or opinions expressed on Can We Keep It Real podcast are the views of the individual, and they're basically opinions, right? So anyone involved that do not represent the views of any third parties. So guests or people or even myself that may say something on this podcast, you can't hold it against anyone else, and it's our opinions. And guess what? You coaches are public figures. So you know what? Forget about your hurt feelings and stop running to lawyers. Save the $750. Look, it might help you. Throw me to $750. Support. Now we're going to take it back to last week. We're going to go over a couple scores. We started last Thursday with 2 games. One of them, could have been a Division II, rival game. See what's going on. Portsmouth and Westerly. A lot of people thought Portsmouth was always going to come out the box hot. And a lot of people wasn't sure what Westerly was going to do after Stanley Dunbar leaves. You get Ronnie Spazzato. What he said he was going to go with, I think, the 11-man, a spread. Ronnie has a freshman quarterback, Landon Husserl, but Landon Husserl did not look anything like a freshman in that 20-0 Portsmouth beatdown. Portsmouth just had no answer for Westerly as they, basically Landon Husserl could go at will where he wanted on the field. I think Portsmouth is trying to figure what their identity is. New coach, new program, young kids coming over. But usually Portsmouth, they usually don't rebuild, they reload. And we haven't really seen that from Portsmouth. So Westerly takes that game 20-0. The other game last Thursday night was Coventry and Tollgate. You know, Coventry, after Gary Goodhart resigns last season, on the Can We Keep It Real podcast, salute to my guy Gary Goodhart, doing good things down in Virginia. You know, we're going to talk to Gary and see how football programs are doing it down in Virginia very, very soon. And Tollgate, you know, a team that came in this season, requested to the league that they opt out of the RAIL for this year, which just means they won't have playoff games. I'm not sure how that works, and I thought they figured they were going to play a lot of JV scheduling, and they were going to drop down to Division 4 and play some of them programs, but I don't think it worked out how Tollgate really expected it to work out. But Tollgate is in that game, and what I heard someone say on the radio a couple days while covering that game, I think it was Mr. Mike Green, shout out to him, check him out, calling some of the Coventry football games. You know, but he said, you know, basically they just need to throw the ball, just throw it all day, throw it 40, 50 times a day. So Tollgate, Maselli, if you're listening, a Hall of Famer said throw the ball 40, 50 times a game, and you might have a little more success, but Coventry wins that game 46-7. One thing I do want to get into about the Coventry game, you know, I actually posted something that was said from Coventry, and, you know, it made some good conversation this week. But let it be known, you know, Coventry basically said after that game, you know, they don't just want to win. They want to come out and dominate. And they used the KILL word, you know. But it wasn't a coach that said that. It was a player that was amped up. And maybe I should have said that last week. I just thought that would be great bulletin board material, you know. It just makes for great, great football. So, you know, that definitely wasn't said, you know, at any harmful deceit. But that was last Thursday. And then we go to Friday's games. I think there was 16 games for Rhode Island football on that night. Top ranked teams, North Kingstown, Bishop, Hendricken, you know, a lot of great teams. Shea and Barrington were hooking up, but, you know, let's get into some of them scores. I think the South Kingstown and Woonsocket, South Kingstown won that game 24-6, which I think that game, was that on Friday or Saturday? Whatever it was, you know, Woonsocket turning over the ball 4 times, and you really can't do that. But even though Woonsocket turned the ball over 4 times, their quarterback, Dante Mellon, you know, he actually became, you know, the top quarterback according to Max Prep's stats. So we're going to talk about that a little bit more. I don't have all them notes in front of me right now, but we're definitely gonna talk about the top quarterbacks in Rhode Island football. You know, so let's see if Woonsocket can get back up and rebound from it. North Providence High School in Central Falls. North Providence, you know, looking like a great team to go with that great field. North Providence wins 21-8. Davies playing Juanita Sanchez. Davies beating Juanita Sanchez 22-20 in that game. In a Division II game, Shea and Barrington. Barrington number 4 coming up against number 19, Shea. Barrington wins that game 42-8. Barrington plays Westerly Bulldogs tonight, so we'll definitely see both of these teams. You know, we're going to see their identity, and one of these teams will come out of this game a loser. A game we're going to talk about tonight, Pontiganset and West Warwick, man. You know what? We'll get into that a little bit later. Mount Hope and Pilgrim. You know, Mount Hope with a new coach, Shane Parker. Shout out to Shane. You know, I'm sure he's going to be able to get Mount Hope dialed in very, very soon. But Mount Hope and Pilgrim basically winning that matchup 20. Let me change that. 20-0. Mount Pleasant played out-of-state Watertown, and Mount Pleasant wins that one 42-14. Tolman and Charahoe. I think Charahoe now, going into week 3, has 0 points on the season, but I don't think they're the only team with 0 on the season. So Tolman wins that contest 40-0. Jumping over to Division 1, North Kingstown playing Bishop Hendricken High School right now. Max Preps has Bishop Hendricken ranked number 1 and NK number 2. Bishop Hendricken wins that 21-14. LaSalle playing out of state St. John's, a little banged up, but LaSalle falling to St. John's 14-20. That loss, according to Max Preps, brings LaSalle's ranking all the way down to number 8. East Providence and St. Ray's, another dog fight. St. Ray's was trying to get it over the pylon, but just could not punch that ball. And tough gay at the office for St. Ray's. East Providence winning that one 19 to the dub. I haven't seen St. Ray's take a 0 in a minute. Lincoln and North Smithfield. North Smithfield rebuilding, graduated a lot of guys last year. North Smithfield trying to hang in the game, but it's just that fourth quarter. Having that fourth quarter team, is, so Lincoln wins that one 42-0. Shout out to Coach Piper and his staff. Tiverton and Scituate. Listen, Tiverton coming out the dog house with 2-0 right now. Tiverton winning that 13-6. And listen, Scituate is not using injury fund stats. So shout out to Scituate. Hopefully Ponteganza can straighten out their issue with the injury fund stats. We just want all the players on an equal playing field. So when we look at the stats, we can equally see who has the most yards. We don't have to go back and deduct. So let's have fun with the stats this year. And coaches, man, update your stats on Max Preps, man. Come on. There's coaches that have said recruiters reached out to them because of stats from Max Preps. Rogers and Johnston. Has Johnston turned it around? Is Johnston a new team or a different team? Are they the real thing? Was the need down for the final touchdown on that Rogers game? But Johnson comes out ahead of that one, 30-27. Burrillville playing Cranston West. Burrillville wins that 35-20. Burrillville looking very, very explosive. You can go on Fans Only Sports and watch that game. Listen, how about the Charo, Jalinas, Keller? What a great combination. Keller just, running up and down that field. Great win for Burrillville and Coach Ferraro, the new RAIL Coaches Association president. And Cumberland and East Greenwich. Cumberland going with a couple sophomore backup quarterbacks. Their varsity quarterback and Ray Andrews are both out. I'm not sure for how long, but I'm sure Lemur ain't going to let us know too much of that information. And how about, speaking of Lemur, how about the shirts that we seen up there in Cumberland, huh? Replace Lemur. 9 seasons, only 2 playoff wins. That's blasphemy. That's crazy, Joshua. And one of them comes in Division 2. That's nasty work right now. A losing record as a head coach. How bad can it be? 41-45. That's below 500, right? You got 100 players and no freshman team. Come on now. We have to do better than that, Josh. And one thing I really, really don't like about this is he's dismissive of second-tier plays. People, read into the shirt as you want. There's supposed to be another 100 T-shirts made this week. So the first 100 people over there to the game will get a T-shirt. Somebody would definitely be there passing them T-shirts out. And I have to do a big shout out to the RAIL, something I've been saying that should be done for the last couple. Let's get some kind of program inside the schools, and teach these kids about the game, whether it's officiating. I think we have to teach them a lot about contracts, ethics of the game, but how about making adjustments? Should coaches automatically know how to make adjustments? Well, the next game we're about to see a coach that I didn't see make any adjustments. I actually seen the other team make adjustments for him. Oh, you already know we are talking about the West Warwick Ponteganza game. We'll be right back.
Oprah, like, you get a touchdown, you get a touchdown, you get a touchdown.
Hey, Coach, is there anything you...
Oh, David Caito. What's up, everybody? We are back. A little reaction from the game, and I've been wanting to I've been pretty much putting this together, thinking about what I'm going to say. I definitely went back and watched the game several times. And what I am going to say, crazy. Let's go back a little bit before this. Before this game started, I'm looking at everything on paper, and I know Ponagansett. I know the program. I know the kids. I know what they had over there. I know what Coach Cook had over there. I watched him for the last couple of seasons, and I gotta say, I have not seen a loss like this in Ponagansett for quite some time. I don't remember the last time that Ponagansett lost this bad. And I can't even blame the players. You know what I mean? I got to go right to the top. I got to blame Davey Caito, the great coach that Ponagansett hired, which I think they made the worst mistake. You could have had steak. Instead, you opted for Salisbury steak. Before this game, Ponagansett looked bigger than West Warwick, right? Even the start of the game, the O-line, they seem to be moving West Warwick's line. And then adjustments came in. You seen West Warwick making adjustments, and you still see Ponagansett making 0 adjustments. Not a one. Why was that? I mean, you definitely got the 2 hands on the knees, crouching over. You got that down pat, Davey boy. And listen, there was mistakes by both teams. I mean, in the first half, you say, all right, maybe is the game staying close? You be the judge of that. But then we're going into halftime. And, West Warwick just out-coached Ponagansett so bad. I mean, now we see why Coach Caito has been out the game for so long. Now we see last season why he was a choreographer. Breaking down game film. Shout out to him. At least he's staying relevant in the game. But you come in here and look what's going on with this program. Shout out to Ponagansett, and this isn't a dig towards any of these kids because they were all trying. You look at this play. Look, 1, 2, 3. Look at all the defenders around him. They was just so defeated by this time. You see him going to the sideline, the yelling at him, that really is not gonna help these guys. Ponagansett was just non-existent from the time that they snapped the ball. There was no route concepts at all. All they were doing was throwing it deep, and you go back, and that's a Caito philosophy. Blitz, onion, throw it deep. And you go back and watch the ball several times. I mean, watch the game several times. The ball will be thrown near the sideline. The receiver's running towards the middle of the field. Ball be thrown to the middle of the field. The receiver runs near the sideline. That's bad coaching. What are you doing when these kids are coming off the field? Are you coaching them up? It don't look like that on the screen. There was zero adjustments. There wasn't even no communication on what was being ran. And again, I can't blame these kids because these are kids that I know are experienced football players. These are kids that know how to play the game. I mean, I watched this team. And I'm not really even gassing this up because of the dumpster fire. You know, I'm not gassing this up at all. I'm just speaking what I've seen. And anybody that basically, I mean, you all had to see it as well. You know, and they have Johnston this week, and people saying that Johnson has is becoming a contender. And then you have Pilgrim after that. And I think Pilgrim, they're returning 9 defensive starters this season, filling the roles for defensive end. You got senior captain Dylan Roberts, who's back. You know, junior Brandon Wolforden, I call him Wolfie. You got quarterback Chase Roberts, who's coming in this season healthy. You know, I mean, right now it looks like you better beat Mount Hope and Narragansett. Them are the 2 teams you need to worry about. Because with the quarterback being hit as much as Robbie Grenier got hit, you need to keep that boy healthy. I mean, Cook had these guys strong. I'm just saying what it is, but I never seen a staff with no adjustments. The staff lost this game. Them kids went out there, they fought their hearts out, and they tried. And then there's rumors of a savage practice a day or 2 before the game. Like, that's when you have a walkthrough. That's how kids get hurt. I mean, this is nothing like last season's team. Last season's team had an identity. Offensively, defensively. You knew if Ponagansett came to play you, or you went to Ponagansett with Jimmy Cook's staff. And let me tell you, I'm not even capping for Jimmy Cook because people know. I went at Jimmy Cook also. Shout out to Jimmy Cook. We got no problems. I'm just saying, never, ever have I seen Ponagansett football players look so beat up and defeated. Here's a quick word.
Not promote or promotion any illegal activities. All content provided by this channel is meant only for educational purpose only.
We got to protect ourselves, you know. The bull wants to put out cease and desist, you know. It is what it is. But we back into this game, the Ponagansett West Warwick reaction. I mean, you know, West Pennington ended up making adjustments for Caito. You know what I mean? It got so bad at a certain point. I think West Warwick could have put another 20, 30 points on this team. And you can't even blame it on the kids over there. That's the crazy part. Usually, you know, you say, all right, you know, the kids did it. This was all Caito's doing. You go get rid of Cook, right? You're left with Kneeling over there. You know, we get him out of there, who is a union athletic director. Wasn't easy, exposed his bad doing. You got a program over there that has no athletic trainer. They're into it for $100,000 over the last 5 years. I mean, whatever, no big deal about having no athletic trainer, but $100,000 is a big deal. And then you got the whole Dave Valley situation, how that got swept under the rug, and all of a sudden you're bringing in the superintendent's friend, who's Dave Caito, to coach these kids. And you went from one of the best, and now let's face it, you had these kids all amped up. You come into West Warwick, and I don't know what Dave Caito was thinking. And this is why I criticize his coaching performance, because let's say the guy is not a good coach. Ponagansit's not getting their money's worth, and the athletic director that hired him is not even there anymore. I hope after this season you do the right thing and bring back Coach Cook. Cato says during the interview process, one of the best selling features of this school is the attitude of these kids on the football program, right? How'd you even know the attitude of these kids on the football program? I mean, it was just so much that did not make sense in this game. Never have I seen this team so defeated. But you know what? You know who was there supporting them? Coach Jimmy Cook and his staff. The staff that went with him, a few members of his staff stayed there. I don't know. I would feel after you did my man dirty like that, I don't know if I couldn't stay there. Absolutely not. So for a team that looked this experienced, like Ponagansett, that I know that they are, they just look totally shell-shocked out there. Totally shell-shocked. Poor Robbie Grenier getting whacked every time he tried to drop back and throw the ball. There was nowhere to run. He tries to make life out of a play. That don't work out too good. I mean, this is nothing like last year's team. Thanks, Coach. That's the West Warwick Dave Caito that we know. Clap it up for Dave Caito. That's the West Warwick Bull that we know. And I don't even know how many times I say I hate to be because I love that program and I love them kids over there. There's some great kids on that program. But it's nothing like last year's team. It don't even look like this coaching staff has developed an identity offensively or defensively. Yeah, if you send it, I'll put it up on the screen. Absolutely. Never have we seen a program look as defeated, or never have I seen Ponagansett look this bad. And now you have Johnston coming up. You better be on your game because people are saying Johnston looked very good. Now hopefully the boys at Ponagansett can get together, figure your own thing out, figure out what you have to do to get these W's up on the board. You need to finish at 4-3. That's probably the worst you can finish right there. Now, against it's a game you have to say, can we beat these guys? Mount Hope, are they beatable? I mean, West Warwick is a very good team. They're not Davies. You know, they weren't Davies at all. Very good program over there. Then you have Johnston. You know, so it is what it is. You know, if I had to grade the staff, and minus all the other coaches, I don't, you know, whatever it is. I don't know them guys. They're young. They're from Tri-Town. It is what it is, you know. And maybe Mr. Caito should not have sent me a cease and desist, real talk. Because I was about to leave that pocketbook carrying dude alone, allegedly. So basically, that's pretty much what I thought of the game that I seen West Warwick and Pontiganset and all the players. I ain't even talking about none of you guys. You guys played your hearts out. You played as good as you were coached to play last week. That's what the coaches prepared you to do. So you did just what the coaches prepared you to do. Don't feel that you let them down. Feel that they let you down. The end of the season, that's when it'll all matter. Never have we seen a team look so defeated. This is nothing like last year's team. And I think I'm going to put my notes in the banner section. Never have we seen a team look so defeated. Hopefully they could pop up against Johnston. Definitely nothing like last year's team. Yep, definitely nothing like last year's team. But we'll be back. We'll be back, people. I appreciate all of yous. I knew I was getting some feedback. Appreciate everybody, man. All the coaches. We have more games that we are gonna talk about. Stay tuned. Check out the stats from Max Preps. And we be back. We be back. And I know some people are not gonna like what we had to say. There's a few other things that I wanted to talk about. But if they ask you, who told you, tell them it was.
That's the bad guy. Bad guy. Bad guy. That's the bad guy.